Don't be afraid to go left when everybody's going right, even though people will be like, yo, what the fuck is this? That's the good shit. Showtime!
Akshe, who is Puri?
I DJ'd like in a local bar. I fake my ID to get in there. I feel like I have something to prove.
You say I have something to prove and not I needed to prove something. Sounds to me like it's incomplete yet, like you haven't proven anything yet.
Yeah, I feel like that.
Why?
Because,
Corona hits,
yeah,
TikTok explodes,
yeah.
and all of a sudden JASON DERULO picks it up for round 2.
Yeah, that's a funny story actually. Like, I wasn't into TikTok at that time. Good to know. Because you should never underestimate like new platforms.
Coño.
Did you know at that point already that you'd, created a track that would later go on to do nearly 500 million in streams?
Nah.
Hello friends, just quickly before we get started with today's show. The way these algorithms work is that the more people that listen to the show, the more people it gets promoted to. So as a result, I would love it if you would smash the subscribe or the follow button wherever you're listening or watching this, so that I can help as many people as possible solve their quarter life crisis. And with that being said, thanks so much, and let's get on with today's show.
Akshe,
Yes.
I find it important to start all podcasts with the same question because usually it establishes how the rest of the conversation is going to continue. And that question is, are you happy?
Yes.
What, in your opinion, is required to live a happy life?
Family, friends, passion, health.
Do you think we should chase happiness?
I mean, no. You shouldn't chase it, but you should do certain things to acquire happiness.
Such as?
The most important thing I feel is like health and family.
Mm-hmm.
Keep a good relationship with your parents, with your brother, with your sister, whatever is in your life. Take good care of your body, because everything starts with your body, of course. If you don't take care of your body, I think the rest, I don't think you will live a happy life.
Fair. For this podcast, I have a certain research hypothesis, and that research hypothesis is that passion gives purpose. What's your opinion on that?
I agree.
What is your passion?
My passion. I mean, the obvious choice is music, of course. Music is my number one passion, but I have multiple passions. I like working out. That's also a passion of mine. I like being creative. Of course, music is a creative job, but also clothing, fashion, everything that's involves creation.
Yep. I find it interesting that you mentioned working out, right? Because I've asked this question now to quite a few people.
Yeah.
And they often respond to my hypothesis of passion gives purpose with the answer no, because they also are passionate about working out, for example. And what I've started to think a little bit is that maybe working out, in the terms that they mean it, refers more to enjoyment. I enjoy working out.
Yeah.
Because would you say that working out, as you describe it, adds to your purpose?
Yeah.
Why?
Because to fulfill your purpose, you need to be strong in your mind and in your body. So, yeah, I think it's an essential part of your purpose, you know?
It's nicely said.
Yeah, I think your purpose as a man is to provide, to take care of your family. And if you're weak in your mind and in your body, there's no way you're able to do that.
Right.
So that's why I feel like that.
You mentioned already that your obvious passion is music.
Yeah.
When did your sort of passion for music occur?
My earliest memory is I mean, I always used to listen to music, of course, and be excited about it when I was a kid. But the first like actual memory I have when I was like, yo, I want to do something with this was when I think I was like 8 or 9 or something. And I have a one older brother. He's 5 years older than me. And there was this how do I call it? Like a youth disco,
Yeah.
in our neighborhood. But I was like I was not old enough to go there, but my brother was. So he was always going. I was like, yo, I want to go there as well. And then one day they told all the older kids, you can bring your younger brother or sister.
Okay.
Only this one night. And so I was happy, of course. I got ready. We went there. And then I was like mesmerized about the whole setting, people dancing, enjoying, DJ playing music, people drinking, of course, no alcohol at that time.
Yeah.
But like I was like mesmerized, like the DJ was like controlling the room.
Yeah.
So he was at that moment he was like the guy who was like
Puppet master.
the puppet master, exactly. Like he was like controlling the emotions of the room, the energy, and I was like mesmerized about it.
Yeah.
So that was like my first memory I have about like I really want to do something with this, like music. And I was young at that age, so
How old were you then?
9, I think. Like
Oh, wow.
9
Okay.
or 10, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe even younger, but I think around that age. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And then, so to build on that question, then, would you consider yourself a DJ that produces or a producer that DJs? Or neither?
That's a good question. It's funny, but back then I started as a DJ, but I thought like a DJ needs his own songs, which clearly is not the case because the guy who was playing in that venue when I was a kid obviously was not producing any music.
Yeah.
But in my mind, it was like that. So for me, the DJing and producing started at the same time because I thought that was like the normal case.
Yeah.
If you DJ, you produce, and like if you produce, you DJ.
And then has it really since 9 been nonstop? Go. This is it. I know what I'm going for.
Nah, of course. I was like in like high school, and I always wanted to DJ. I DJed like in a local bar always. When I was like 15, I started.
In Ludique, right?
Yes, I faked my ID to get in there. You know? So yeah, that was back then, and my parents always thought like this is a hobby. You know, like they never thought this could be like a serious job. But in the back of my head, I always knew I wanted to do something with music, DJ, produce, whatever. So yeah.
I did already mention it a little, but I was also a DJ before this whole podcast thing started. I even played in Ludique as well. So I know the Agnieszka and the whole gang. And what I always found fascinating, obviously you coming from Snake and where I am from originally, but also other artists that I've spoken to and know, is this confidence almost that if they want to succeed at what they are building, they have to believe in themselves 100%. Even if the track that you put online gets 3 plays, you know, you go back in the morning and you make more music.
Yeah.
Where does your confidence in that sense come from? Or would you even describe yourself that way? Maybe that's a better question.
I mean, yes, I would describe myself that way because, like you said, like the first time you upload some music and you get 3 plays, you can think like 2 things. Or you go back in the lab and be like, tomorrow I have 300 plays, and the next day I have 300,000 plays. But that confidence, where does that come from? I feel like for me, because my parents are like refugees, I feel like I have something to prove, you know, to them, because they came here for my future and my brother's future. So that automatically gave me like a boost to like prove it to my parents. Like, you didn't come here for no reason, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's like the main case. And also because like you said, we're from like Friesland. That's like a region where, nobody really looks at in the Netherlands, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because everything happens in Amsterdam, Rotterdam, The Hague. I feel like that also gives you like a sense of like, you have to prove yourself extra, so that can go both ways, or you can be like, oh shit, am I able to make it? Or like be like, fuck it, I'm gonna prove it. Like we have talent here as well.
Yeah.
So that's it, basically.
I find it interesting when you talk about your parents, that you say, I have something to prove, and not I needed to prove something. It sounds to me like it's incomplete yet, like you haven't proven anything yet.
Yeah, I feel like that.
Why?
Because my vision and my ideas are like bigger than what I have accomplished right now. So in my mind, I haven't proven anything. Of course, a couple of things, financial freedom in a certain way, like a couple gold plaques, but that's not the end goal. I feel like the end goal, or not the end goal, but I feel like I have so much more to give to the world, music-wise, but also business-wise, or different companies. I have so many ideas. My mind sometimes explodes.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're just getting started right now.
Right. So, but is there then is that maybe almost endless then?
It is. That's why you always should like enjoy the journey instead of be like fixated on, if I reach this goal, I will be happy. That will never be the case, because there's always a new goal. There's always a new thing to reach, So it's always about the journey. It's like some cliche thing to say, but that's the way it is.
Well, yes, it is a cliche, but I think it's also a cliche for a reason.
Yeah. Most cliches are true.
Exactly.
Right?
Then, for those that don't know, tell a little bit about Puri. About the artist Puri. Who is Puri in that sense?
The artist Puri. The artist Puri. How should I like explain that? I like so many different kinds of music. That's what not a lot of people know. But I listen to like all kinds of music. My preference is, there is no preference, basically.
Right.
Because sometimes I feel like this, then I listen to this. Sometimes I feel like that, I listen to that, and I get like inspiration from every kind of music. But of course, I have like a certain sound which people obviously like, and that's like dancehall, mumbaton, reggaeton, like really like drum heavy. Girls can dance to that music, they can have a good time in the club. So yeah.
Do you ever then feel limited by the fact that this is what the sound you've been associated with?
Yeah, I feel limited, but that's always something that's in your mind as well. Because you can do like any kind of music you want because you're free, but once you break through with like a certain type of sound, people are gonna expect that from you. And if you don't give it to them, they're gonna be like, yo, this is cool, but what about this?
Yeah.
Why are you not giving like more music we want? But in the end, the fans, they will listen to the music.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's like a balance in between like something that you like and something that your fans like. And in the end, it's always the thing that you create, the fans, they will have to like it because that's the music you're putting out. But yeah, it's always a balance. And I make all kinds of music. Like some music of mine, people will never hear.
Yeah.
I also did some productions. People don't even know that I'm behind it. But yeah.
I've been following your journey for a little while, since Everybody, to be precise, because the dude that you collaborated with on that, Yura, was actually my teacher. He taught me how to DJ and produce.
Cool. Yeah.
as a result, I followed him. I came across your song. And basically since then, I've been following this development already. Meaning also followed you on social media. And one quote that you at one point shared in your story that has resonated with me forever. I'm not sure if you said it or you just shared it, but it was, they can steal the sauce, but they will never have the recipe. I thought that was fascinating. Because to some extent I could say you at least pioneered that sort of bass heavy Mumbaton sound with Coño.
Yeah.
What was that sort of story behind Coño actually?
I mean, I was already making like beats like everybody, some stuff I did with Jack and Lewis. Shout out to all those guys, by the way. Also, Yura, he gave me a chance to play in Ludique for the first time. So that was like the place I started DJing.
Yeah.
Shout out to him as well. So I was making all these club beats, and they were being picked up by DJs. They were being played in every club. And we were like, yo, we were onto something. Or at least I was onto something. But then if you do that like for a certain while, you reach a point where you'll be like, it's getting kind of repetitive, like we need something new. We need something new to add to the sauce, to the recipe. So like I said, I like all kinds of music. And before I started making like Mumbaton and dancehall and this kind of music, I was EDM heavy. So I was making house music, like trap, like all these kinds of music. But when I reached that point where I thought like we were doing the same thing every single day, I'm not getting inspired anymore. And then my brain started thinking like, okay, what's the next sound? Like, don't lose the essence of what's working, but add something new to the mix that it becomes something fresh. And I started listening to like bass house music, like house music. And I was like, what if I combine these two worlds in something new? And that's how Coño was born, because I was like thinking. And Jack and Lewis was in a studio right beside mine. So we were always like going back and forth, hopping in that studio. But so one day they were working, I just came in the studio. I was like, in my mind, I was like, what should I do? And then it clicked. And I went back to the studio, started building. That shit came together.
Yeah. I heard at some point, but it could be mistaken, that Coño actually ended up staying on the shelf for almost 2 years before it actually came out.
Facts.
What made the switch at some point that you ended up releasing it?
Like we were discussing before we started recording, like the timing, you know, it's all about perfect timing, because I feel like back then, it was only the beat, by the way. Like the vocals were not on it, but I feel like back then people weren't ready yet. Like the sound was still, people were expecting that same sound still. And people were not like, okay, we need something new now. I was already there.
Yeah,
because
exactly,
we like, as producers, I feel like we were like creating the future. You know, like we are the puppet masters.
Yeah.
Like we control what people gonna like or listen to next. So that wasn't the right timing for that song. Probably, because if it was up to me, I would have released it. But it wasn't the right timing. So what happened, it was on the shelf for, like you said, like 2-3 years. And often people came in my studio, I played them some beats, and they were like, yo, this beat is crazy. Like also like other DJs, friends of mine. And they were like, yo, can I have this for my sets? I was like, yeah, whatever, take it. So they started playing it. And one time I saw like a video of a friend of mine, he played it, and he was like, and I saw the reaction of the people. I was like, yo, okay, it's working.
Yeah.
It's working. So then my manager, I don't know when, this was like 2 years after I made it, he was like, yo, we need to do something with this, because we were going through my beats and stuff, and we were like, yo, this one is special. We knew it. Like this beat is special. So I was in the studio with Jor Mountain, one of the artists who's on the song. My manager arranged a session for us. And I already had like the hook for it, like the Coño, the sample. I put it in there. So the concept I already had built, so it was already there. So went in the studio. We recorded the hook actually, and the verse of Jor. And then I put another artist on it, Rody. Shout out to him as well. He had a verse on it as well. Eventually, Akshe came on it, but first it was Rody. So we had this version. Like now it was like a full song. So what happened, I was playing at a boat party and I was like, okay, let me try it out. So I played the record and I saw like all the faces of the people who were there would like turn like, yo, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
So then I knew like, yo, this is something special. And so a couple of DJs, one of the DJs who was also playing there, he came to me like, yo, bro, this song is crazy. I need it. Like my birthday is next week. Semblance is his name. Shout out to him as well. He came to me. He was like, yo, my birthday is next week. Can I have the song to play my birthday? Because back then his birthday party was like a thing, like people used to go there. So I sent the song to him. Fast forward, the next week, his birthday comes. He plays the song and somebody films it. So he put like that video on his Instagram. And I saw the comments were like blowing up, like, yo, what's that song? What's that song? Is that your song? Is that your song? So people thought it was his song.
Yeah.
Because he opened his set with it or something. And then, it started blowing up. It leaked. So the version with Rody leaked on the internet. So it was on YouTube. A couple other DJs had it. They started playing it. So we were like, yo, we need to like
get on this
and get it moving with this one because everybody wants to hear this. Then
how does something like that leak? I never understood that.
I mean, like I told you, I sent it to a couple of DJs,
right?
And then friends ask, yo, can you send it to me? Okay, but don't send it to anybody else. And then he sends it, and the other guy is like, yo, send it to me. Okay, don't send it to anybody else. And then it goes like wildfire.
Yeah.
It's all over.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
So, after that, we were like, yo, we need to really start, pushing this. And before that, I had done like a session with Akshe, and he's, of course, also on the song. And I did like a trap song with Akshe, and it was like the first time we met. My manager obviously arranged the session, and I had some vocals from him. So we had the song with Jor, the hook, the first verse, and the second verse was empty. And we all heard like Akshe needs to do something on this. But I had the vocals from the previous session I did with him. So my manager was like, yo, put those vocals on there and let's see how it sounds.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And it sounded crazy.
Yeah.
I was like with 4 friends of mine in the studio. They were like, yo, going crazy. Like this is hard.
Did you know at that point already that you'd created a track that would later go on to do nearly 500 million in streams?
Nah. We were in Snake in my old studio. We were like, this is dope, but we never expected it that it would have gone like this. It's crazy. But then, I put his vocals on the song. So we were like, yo, he needs to do something on this song.
Yeah.
So my manager tried to arrange a session. Didn't go smoothly, but eventually we got him in the studio, did the record. Fair. That session was also like crazy. Like he came in the room and he was like thinking, and then he went back up, smoked another joint, came back in, thinking, smoke another one, go up, come back, and then eventually we started getting into it. He did a verse. And then after that, it was like quick, actually. The brother of my manager is Distortion. Shout out to him as well. He lives in the UK. He's doing music there. And his manager, Sharaf from Two Tone Records, he heard the song. And he was working with Warner and Spinning Records. And so he heard the song and he told my manager, like, yo, this song is insane. This is big. You need to need like a big label for this one. So he connected us with Spinning. And
yeah, because I remember that happening, that it eventually launched on Spinning, but at the time, like, at the risk of getting very technical into the music now, but at the time, Spinning was still heavily house music.
Yeah, facts.
So
we were the first ones to do this kind of music on
there.
Spinning.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was a funny story, actually. I think at first they didn't even like the song.
Yeah.
But the guy from London, the manager, Sharaf, he was like, you guys are crazy if you don't release this because this is going to be huge. And then eventually I think that they started believing in it as well. We went to the office, finished the song basically quick because they were like, yo, we need the song this week so we can start uploading, do a release date, blah, blah, blah. So after that, everything just started going like quick. The release date was there, finished the song, we released it. And it started picking up right away because of all the hype that was already around the song. Yeah. You know, the song got leaked. People were like, yo, when is this coming out? When is this coming out? So after that, it went by itself, basically.
If you're anything like me, you may have spent months, to some cases years, trying to figure out what your passion is. You've eventually figured it out and are contemplating making the jump. In doing so, one of the first things you are faced with when building a new business or even being a creator is finances. Now, the select few love this part. I personally do not. So luckily, I'm very proud to announce today that I have a sponsor who is able to fix this problem for you. For the sharp listeners, you may know them from episode 30, Edwin from Moneybird. They decided to sponsor this podcast today. Now, I know that when I started with my business 4 years ago, I was super overwhelmed by all the things I had to do, from sending invoices to doing my taxes. It was all a lot and all very confusing and almost made me stop. Moneybird aims to automate the financial processes, such as sending invoices, such as sending reminders for invoices, such as giving you exactly how you need to fill in your tax overview. So if you're a starting entrepreneur or creator in the Netherlands, I'd absolutely recommend using Moneybird. I'll add the link to their website in the description down below. And with that being said, let's get back into today's show.
It went out, or like it came out in the Netherlands. I remember that, also watching sort of the numbers go up like madness every week. I think at some point it then at first stagnated at like 70 million, something like that. Corona hits. Yeah. TikTok explodes. Yeah. And all of a sudden, Jason Derulo picks it up for round 2, so to say. Mm-hmm. Tell me more about that experience.
Yeah, that's a funny story, actually. Like, obviously, TikTok started blowing up, like, all around the world. I wasn't into TikTok at that time. Good to know. Because you should never underestimate, like, new platforms. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I wasn't into TikTok. I was like, yo, this is corny. Like, what is this? But then Jason Derulo started popping off on TikTok. And he was going crazy with the videos, like millions of views. And he started doing like remixes of big TikTok songs. So what happened in the meanwhile, Coño went to #1 on TikTok. But back then, I didn't even know like what kind of impact that had. I was like, yo, cool. I get messages left, right, like your song is going crazy on this platform. I was like, yeah, dope. But it was #1.
Yeah.
So then Jason, he obviously heard the song because there were like millions of videos on that platform. And he hit me up on Instagram. He sent me a direct message and he was like, yo, your song is crazy. I want to do a remix for it. I was like, let's go. He was like, here's my number.
You were at any point like, wait, Jason Derulo just messaged me? What the fuck?
Yeah, of course.
Is this real? You know, am I being hacked here or what?
Yeah, of course. I saw the message. I was like, yo, this is crazy. You know, I instantly like made a screenshot, sent to my team, like, yo, this is crazy. And he sent me his number. He was like, yo, call me. And he lives in LA. And I called him. It was like nighttime there. I called him. He was in the studio. He was like, yo, blah, blah, blah. I fuck with the song. I want to do a remix. I already recorded something. So he played it. He recorded something like an instrumental from internet. And then he was like, can you send me the instrumental beat, like the original one?
Yeah.
So I sent it to him. And we go back and forth, like a couple versions. I was like, yo, change this maybe, or go this way. Then like, I think like a month later, the song came out, like the remix. And that like blew a whole nother life into the song, because the song was already 2-3 years old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think 3 years old at that point. But that's the magic of TikTok. Like some songs, maybe they're 10 years old.
Yeah.
But because TikTok, people started picking it up and it gives it a whole new life.
Yeah.
So like you said, we were like on 70 million or 50 million even, I think.
Which is still crazy, by the way, if you consider that in the Netherlands, there's only 16 million people.
Exactly. It's still a good amount of streams. But after that, it just started going even more crazy. Like 70 million, 80 million, 90 million, 100 million, the original one.
Yeah.
Because of TikTok. And then the remix came, and the remix also was on like 140 or something. 130. So if you combine all those streams, we were like past 500 million streams already.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that's crazy, because when Corona hit, I was like, yo, what the fuck am I gonna do now? Because I was doing shows, I was doing this, blah, blah. The money was getting lower, of course, you know? And then that came like a blessing, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, because was there a point like before sort of the second round where you were like, I don't know anymore if I can do this again, you know?
Of course.
Because you get the pressure, I can imagine, that Coño brings with it.
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of pressure.
How do you deal with it?
I mean, you just gotta go through it, you know? You gotta feel like what kind of emotions that come up with it, you know? You gotta like go through it. There's no way around it. There is obviously a certain type of pressure that it brings, because if one of your first singles is like such a huge record, people are gonna expect the same thing for the next record.
Exactly, yeah.
And the next one, and the next one. So, yeah, that fucked me up for a while, of course. But
did you ever, as a result, like have writer's block?
I mean, yeah, of course. But I feel like writer's block, I don't know if it exists. I think it's just like something in your brain. You gotta turn off that voice, you know, like what you're saying, like you cannot do this again, or blah, 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 blah. But writer's block, of course, you have sometimes the feeling that you're like uninspired, or you don't know what to do next, or you need to like experience certain things like outside in the world to put into your music.
Yeah.
Because it's like a creative job. If you don't experience anything, what kind of music you're gonna make? Because you're not like out there and observing like what do people like, or this song works well, or maybe I should do this and then my way, you know? So I feel like writer's block is when you're just stuck in the same place for too long. So you gotta go out sometimes and come back, revisit, you know?
Because obviously, as you mentioned, you're from Snake. Today we're in Almere. Was that one of the reasons why you ended up moving to Almere, or were there different reasons for that?
Different reasons. My ex-girlfriend lived in Amsterdam, so I moved with her.
Right. Okay. Fair.
To here. But also, I always wanted to come here, because Snake is cool, and I love Snake. I love Friesland. That's the place where I grew up. You know, they gave me all the opportunities where I made some of my biggest music till date.
Yeah.
But I feel like the bigger opportunities are here in the end, because when artists from around the world come to the Netherlands, they come to Amsterdam. So
fair. Makes sense. Okay,
it's good to be like here in the neighborhood, you know?
Yeah. You already asked at the beginning about Little Jar.
I was like, what's this?
But before we get into that one, I had a question come on over the past 2 episodes, and I've actually been enjoying asking that. And the question was, what was a time that you nearly quit, and what made you keep going?
Good question. I had multiple times I wanted to quit, actually. But what kept me going is, I think, that burning desire, because you made like a deal with yourself, like, we're gonna keep on going no matter what, no matter what you feel, no matter what you experience, we're gonna keep on going and finish what we started. Because what is it? Yeah, what is it? What's the word of all the work you put in, all the effort, if you're just gonna quit?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. So if you start something, I feel like you should finish it, and yeah, what kept me going, multiple things, to be honest, like family, responsibilities.
It sounds then like you have an extreme level of accountability towards yourself almost.
Of course, there's no one who I can like hold accountable for this,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
myself.
Yeah.
You know,
Is there a way to learn to do that more? Because I think that is a rare trait, to be honest. So I'm quite curious to see whether or not the people that have that extreme, whether there's a way that you can work on that part more.
Good question. Yeah, I feel like if you experience certain things on your journey, you will understand that the only person that can be held accountable for your failures or your success is always yourself. There's nobody else you can point your finger at. So even if you think so, that somebody else is responsible, or fuck, he closed the door for me, so that's why I couldn't go through. But you still can kick in the door and go through.
Yeah.
So it's always your own vision and your own mind.
I do know. I also spoke to Ron Simpson, and this resonates. What he said towards what you're saying now is that he really focused on saying that usually it's not necessarily a lack of experience or even talent that you have, but more a lack of creativity to solve the problems at hand. And I feel like that is what you're getting at now again as well, that, you have to figure out a creative solution to this problem.
I agree.
Yeah.
Totally. It's always up to yourself. So, and then we go back to the beginning, and a question you asked, like, what are certain things that people can do, to gain that ability to keep on going? Back to the beginning, your health. That's the most important thing. Because if you're healthy and you're strong in your mind and in your body, you will be able to make those choices easily.
Yeah.
Or at least you can see the answer and you can use your creativity. But if your mind is like cloudy, foggy, you're not gonna see the solution.
Yeah. I have this thought that also one of the reasons is that people mistake, or I can best explain it, that people set goals and from that they derive their purpose. And I think what it should be is that people should figure out their purpose and set goals as a result. Because from my own experience, and that's what I'm curious if you have, whenever I get a, shitty week where I put a podcast online and it just flops, or I put a video online and gets 200 views, even though the one yesterday got 14.2,
Yeah.
The thing that keeps me going then is that I know there's a bigger mission that I'm working towards.
Yeah.
Whereas when I was in music, in my case, what I think eventually made me quit is that I was in it to become famous and make a lot of money and, make music. I don't think that is a strong foundation to build this on.
I totally agree. It has to come from passion, like the burning desire, because fame and what is fame? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know. So
what are you what are you contributing to, like, the people?
Yeah.
The fame is nothing.
Yeah.
But if you have something for you, for instance, if you can spread knowledge, if you can spread the conversation, that has a bigger value than all those things like fame and, So that's why I think that kept you going.
Yeah.
You know, because you have, like you said, like a bigger mission, a bigger picture to look at. And also, if your podcast gets 200 views, that's still 200 people that are watching it. And you never know what happens, you know? Some things take time. Some things, maybe somebody sees the podcast 1 year later and be like,
I want to remix that.
yeah, whatever, you know? Like,
yeah.
maybe you inspire someone. He builds $1 billion company from, you know, from that podcast. So you just got to keep on going. Even if you think, because we live in an era like it's all about the numbers, it's about how big you are, blah, 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 blah. But even the biggest guys right now in whatever they are doing, podcasting, music, whatever, they started somewhere. Even Joe Rogan started with like 100 viewers.
Yeah.
He's the biggest guy right now. But he's been doing it consistently for 10, 15 years. That's also a big key, like consistency, keep on going. Don't stop when things are not going good in your opinion or in your vision, you know, but keep on going, you know, and don't look at the numbers. Just do it because you like it and you want to spread a message or you want to inspire people. That's always the thing that comes from the heart, you know, so that's a good thing to build on.
So, the jar. Basically what I did at some point was I asked my community to write down a bunch of questions that they're struggling with. I wrote them all down on individual pieces of paper.
Okay.
Also who asked it. And I asked each of my guests to take one and then just give their opinion on the question.
Okay.
So feel free to take one.
Cool. Finally, I've been waiting to do this. Okay.
That's 2.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's 2. Okay, question number 1. Pertsy, if I'm spelling this correctly. In times of great struggle in the past, do you remember a specific thought that kept you going? Yeah, we just...
Yeah, do another one.
Yeah, we discussed this already.
Yeah.
I mean, I can answer it.
No. Or unless you have a specific example that comes to mind.
Yeah, that's a specific thing. Do you remember a specific thought that kept you going? I had multiple times when I thought back of like the moments I was in the studio alone, not even knowing what's going on out there or what's waiting for me like in the next couple of years. I was just making music because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, I was like, I need to go back to that feeling, to that like mindset. Like just make music because you like doing it, because it's your passion, not that you want to be famous or want to reach a certain thing. Just do it because you like it. Remember why you started doing it.
Yeah.
Basically.
So it's good to sometimes go back to the roots in that sense.
Yeah, always, because that's why. That's the why.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. This podcast started, as already mentioned, slightly because I finished my master. And after that was like, wow, you know, I'm as graduated as I can be or as educated as I can be. And now I'm struggling to figure out what's next. What do I want to do?
Yeah.
You know, I was in a fortunate position that I at least knew what I didn't want to do, which was already more than most. But I knew the 9 to 5 wasn't necessarily for me. You know, I knew I wanted to do something in the content game. But outside of that, you know, even there, it's still open. What companies do I work for? What part of marketing do I do? Et cetera, right? My question for you then is, do you have any advice for someone who's maybe in that situation as how they can figure out what path is right for them to follow?
I think like try different things. Like write it down. Just start with who am I as a person? What kind of things I like apart from my career? What kind of things I like to do in my free time, for instance?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And just go out in the world, just experience things. Don't put like pressure on yourself, like I need to have a passion like tomorrow. Because the passion is going to find you. You're not going to find your passion. You know, your calling is going to find you.
That's nice. Yeah. Yeah, because I do think it's indeed often a case that nothing happens as a result of this intense looking for things.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. You're never going to find it.
No, you're like, wait, I need to figure out what do I really like instead of just doing, going.
Yeah.
One, though, contradictory piece of advice that I sometimes then get where people say, you know, just do, but also focus.
Mm-hmm.
That seems, you know, contradictory. Like, how can I do a lot but focus at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts there?
I mean, depends on how you look at it. Like, do a lot but focus at the same time. But what are you going to focus on?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, just focus on whatever you're doing in the present moment.
Right.
Focus on that because nothing else matters. That's why when we were kids, and everybody remembers this, when we were kids, I had a dream about this last night. So that's why it's perfect to say. I had a dream about when I was like in middle school, and I was like, why was I so happy back then? Because I was only thinking about what was happening at that moment right there. You know, so it's always focus, but focus on what you're doing right now. Even if you're like brushing your teeth or making music or doing a podcast or talking with your friends or eating with your mom, whatever you're doing, just be present and in a moment and focus on that. And don't go wild with your thoughts or whatever. Because when you were a kid, you weren't even thinking, you were just doing.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
For the aspiring artists or creators listening to this, if they are considering starting out in music, do you have any advice for them as far as, you know, how to get moving?
Follow your heart and make the kind of music that excites you. And don't be afraid to go left when everybody's going right, even though people will be like, yo, what the fuck is this? That's the good shit, you know?
Yeah.
That's the good shit, because everything that's weird at first will be the popular thing at next, you know? Because us producers, we, at least not everybody, but the ones who want to try something different every time they go in the studio, like reset the levels, like inspire people. Always aim for that, you know? Don't be like the regular, like everybody can make like a simple ass beat, like. And simple is good, but try to like think outside of the box. You know, it's also like a cliche thing to say, but don't be afraid to try to be different. You know, and embrace that part of yourself. And don't think if everybody's doing this, I need to do this. Be the loner and do that thing you feel like, yo, this is it. This is it, you know?
Fair.
Always go for that feeling that you're going crazy in the studio by yourself. Then you know it's a good beat or a good song, or, you know? That's really important, I feel like, because if something doesn't give me that feeling in the studio, I don't want to even be working on music. I always want to be like, hyped, you know, like crazy, like, damn, this crazy.
Fair.
Yeah.
I've arrived at my last question, and that question for you is, what does the future hold for Puri?
The future. Many beautiful things, I hope, you know. Music-wise, life-wise, career-wise, family-wise. I just want, you know, to feel happy, feel good, feel healthy. And I think like everything else is going to follow after that. Because if I'm healthy in my mind, in my body, I can make the right choices. And life, our path is already written. You just got to walk the path, you know?
Awesome. It's been a pleasure telling you personally, at least as a fan from the sidelines, how much I've appreciated watching you grow into this. I'm looking forward for much more music that you'll undoubtedly still create. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me today.
Appreciate you being here, man. And let's do this again or some next time.
Awesome.
See how far we've come.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks.
Appreciate you.